Hey, we back with another one, man. This rapper in Toronto got caught, you know what I'm saying, with a Glock switch. But before we get into all that, make sure y'all hit that like button, man. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. Make sure y'all share the video. Do all that good stuff so you won't miss a video anytime I drop this hot content. Y'all know I'm coming. Now, they say this rapper in Toronto got caught with Glock switch. So we finna see what's going on in Toronto, man. They say they been, it's been a lot going on up there. So let's see what they talking about.
Blooded hit I've ever seen on camera was that of a guy named Fifth in Toronto. He was waiting in what looked like an apartment building, staring down at his phone, when two men approached and fired through the window, with one of the two wiping his prints off the weapon mid-shooting before wiping the door down, opening it, and firing a bit more. I have seen a lot.
Oh, buddy, a killer, like he done wiped off the gun, wiped off the door just to keep using the gun and putting his hand back on the door. Yeah, he with that.
A lot of footage, heard a lot of stories, but when you see something like this, you know it's not just the work of a rookie. Toronto has a homicide clearance rate of 80% alongside a low crime rate, making it the 6th safest major city in the entire world. Now, this is the 4th largest city in North America. That's out of 46 different countries and territories, including the US, all of Central America, and 47 if you include Puerto Rico as its own separate thing. With law enforcement this effective, a person that gets away with murder in Toronto is arguably one of the most dangerous people on this side of the planet. And this Fifth guy, this is a man that allegedly had his casket carried by Drake. Caught on high-definition camera almost 10 years ago, this murder is still unsolved, despite the fact that the getaway car was caught on 2 different cameras.
Yeah, they got up out of there. But if they didn't get caught, they must have got rid of that car.
Although it appeared to have no plates. And this also happened in the area of Toronto, Scarborough, which has a crime rate lower than the city average. Now, Toronto itself only has 172 open unsolved murder investigations since 2004. Now, this doesn't include cold cases, which Toronto has over 700, but just for reference, from 2014 to 2023, a span of just 9 years, St. Louis, a city with about 2 million fewer people than Toronto, saw over 1,000 unsolved murders. My point is, the brutality in a place like Toronto more than makes up for the low crime rate, due to the fact that to get away with something like this, you actually have to take a calculated risk.
It just goes to show you, the streets ain't safe nowhere, even around the world. You know what I'm saying? You in them streets, you playing around, you gonna get what you got coming to you.
Something, despite the perception most American cities just don't see. And like I said in a previous video, the similarities between New York and Toronto are striking. But then again, due to the drill culture, many cities see the same sort of violence and disrespect. One of the gangs I came across that struck me in my research was, of course, NHS, a clique started by a kid called NHSJJ, and he actually ended up deceased under mysterious circumstances that allegedly started with a chain of events that was set off when he allegedly tried to collect a bounty placed on another Toronto rapper's head, a guy called Thoroughbred who has been in the rap scene for over a decade, and he actually was arrested in LA due to his involvement allegedly in a Miami murder years later. But supposedly, NHSJJ heard about some kind of bounty, no matter how much it was, and went to collect it while Thoroughbred was in the car with his daughter, and he allegedly fired.
I don't care what the bounty is, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't going to collect none on no nigga named Thoroughbred. No, it don't sound like, it's a reason why they put the bounty on him. It's a reason why ain't nobody been able to kill him. It's a reason why he just ain't going out like that. But y'all throw the money up and y'all want me to go kill a dude named Thoroughbred. Nah, I'm cool on that. We ain't no killing no dude named Thoroughbred. Nah, we ain't doing that.
Fired at least 60 shots according to the intended target, but this could just be an exaggeration. Fortunately though, both Thoroughbred and his daughter survived, although his daughter was grazed by a bullet. According to rumors and even lyrics from Thoroughbred himself, he returned the favor by putting money on JJ's head, allegedly, which led to him being backdoored and left dead inside of his own home.
Then he rapped about you trying to shoot and kill him, and all y'all did was graze his daughter. Then he put a bag on you, got you killed, and then rapped about it. Boy, yeah, don't mess. Hey, take my advice, y'all. Don't if the man named Thoroughbred, just leave him alone. But he too official. That's an official his name. You know what I'm saying? Just leave him alone if his name Thoroughbred.
Now, often when somebody dies, a girl or just guys who pretended to be friends with the victim get the blame for a mysterious situation like this. Where I must say, being killed inside your own home where the police don't suspect a home invasion does make it seem like he might have let his own killers in, which is exactly what Thoroughbred said in the song, by the way. But the most chilling part of it is a video that surfaced online about a week after JJ's death that I honestly couldn't believe, but then again, we live in the 21st century where even people working in the hospital will leak a picture of a deceased rapper or gang member for money. Just think about the alleged picture of Von's autopsy that went around in 2020. The photo of YBC Duel dead in the hospital.
And it was confirmed that that photo of Von was real, and them pictures of YBC Duel in the hospital was real.
Hospital that surfaced in 2024, and also a picture of 800 TJ lying dead on a hospital bed, which floated around Chicago due to his own ops posting it to their social media. Pretty sick stuff. The video showed JJ walking into his house shortly before his murder. Although the video isn't very clear, there's no doubt the location looks very similar to the exact street the Niagara police state they found his body. And this was after receiving a call about a suspicious person in the area, likely someone staked outside his home. I couldn't find the original uploader of the video, and I assumed the police didn't either. But the video shows that despite living in a suburb called Lincoln, over an hour away from the Jane and Finch neighborhood in Toronto, it was no secret to his ops where he lived. And despite Lincoln being one of the safer areas in Ontario outside of Toronto, his murder remains unsolved to this day. And this led to much of the signature disrespect of the dead that we know all too well in drill culture. And probably the most well-known person to diss him is Top 5, a pretty menacing figure in the Toronto scene that has had his name associated with Drake in the past, including Top 5 once referring to himself as Drake's shooter. Although this could have just been for clout.
Now, y'all know I say this all the time about Top 5. He couldn't be my guy. He couldn't be my shooter. No, I don't know what Top 5 problem is, but to me, he done went at Drake too many times on the internet. I wouldn't even be able to trust him. Like, you telling people you my shooter, you my guy, you my this, you my that. He tweak out some days, and for like a whole week straight, he talk about Drake. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy. I couldn't trust no dude like that.
There's no doubt about this guy's involvement in the streets, as he was charged and acquitted of a 2021 murder in 2024, where after his release, he even thanked Drake publicly for paying his lawyer fees, although he has since been rearrested for gun possession in January 2025. Now, NHS has been
got caught riding around with that rocket, huh? Yeah. Look. You know why Top 5 always getting locked up? He like the biggest voice in Toronto now. He do the most talking, all that. The man cut off his ankle monitor for attention. The police went and did a press conference about him cutting off his ankle monitor and said he wasn't even no longer on the band or whatever. So he just did that for internet attention or whatever. Like, that man, he over chasing the clout.
Been described by some as one of the most dangerous gangs in the city, but this title has been given to many hoods in every city, so it's hard to say. And with many of the members currently locked up or dead, this is even harder to prove. But they do seem to take credit for at least one unsolved murder in Toronto, with the man they diss called YB still having his face featured on Toronto's current homicide investigations list. And this murder having taken place all the way back in 2018, it's unlikely that the Toronto police have any hard evidence to prove who did it, and it will likely remain unsolved. As in any city, it's common for guys to seemingly take credit for murders they didn't commit, just to be disrespectful to another set. And YB was known to be at least associated with some members of the Mount Olive clique. It's also rumored that he could have just been an unaffiliated associate, which is just as dangerous as being a part of it. For instance, while listening to the story of 600 Tricks out of Chicago as told by Tay Capone, Tricks ended up being killed essentially because he allowed himself to be used by 600, as they would simply just use him as a ride to go and shoot at people out of his own personal vehicle, as most gang members are teenagers and in a city.
Say, then Wednesday Tricks, Justo CD and Lil D pop up again, put me in traffic. I'm like, Tricks, I don't like your car, it's too noticeable. That's crazy.
like a small town, most teens don't have their own personal vehicle. And the reason I say an associate is just as dangerous as being a full member is because even in high school, it's not hard to grasp the fact that when you're seen with a group of guys, no shooter is just gonna stop to ask your exact affiliation before they start shooting. So it's up to you if you're gonna let yourself be put in this situation, as Trix wasn't a killer, a shooter, or anything other than a ride essentially, but this cost him his life. And he was even disrespected by members of 600 such as C-Day, who disowned him, further showing that it's not even worth it to do something like this. As you might have heard in one of my earlier videos, I have a friend who was shot 5 times, essentially just for letting the wrong people smoke in his car. So your involvement doesn't even have to go as deep as being a riot like Trix. Now, back to top 5 and NHS. On a quick side note, there's a difference between reporting on rumors in the street that these guys report on themselves when they hop on social media and actually hosting an argument between rivals like something like Clubhouse. DJ Academics, a guy who once called out Brandon Buckingham for being a culture vulture, likely only because Brandon is white, once hosted top 5 and one of his ops, Doovie from NHS, on a live stream where they disrespected each other's dead friends, and Ack just sat back and watched while making millions from it. He's also the one that reposted top 5 thanking Drake for paying his lawyer fees. And despite being a direct vulture, Ack is not from any hood in the USA. In fact, he spent his entire childhood and teenage years, you know, the years where you jump off the porch, in Jamaica, although I've never heard him speak about any hood in Jamaica. And he only came to the
Man, I'm trying to figure out when this nigga Ack was a DJ. I don't never remember walking in no party and nobody was like, you know what I'm saying, put that DJ Academics on. I'm trying to figure it out. Like, the rappers know him now, but like, you was a DJ, they ain't know you before that? I don't know, that's kind of crazy.
US once he started attending Rutgers University, which is probably where he perfected his New Jersey accent. I would never host any gang member on my channel, even if they was from my neighborhood in Chicago, unless we was talking about some peace or trying to push the kids in the right direction. I'm not about to bring y'all up here to argue, especially not guys from another city, let alone a foreign country. That's what you call a vulture. But moving away from all that for a second, the Toronto accent is very unique.
Hey, yo, what's going on, fam? You good, fam? You saying, fam?
Greatly reflecting the fact that Canada, despite its proximity and the fact that we speak the same language, is far different from the USA. I'm not sure if it's the influence of Pidgin, which in case you didn't know, Pidgin, grammatically, develops as a simplified way for groups that don't speak the same language to communicate, i.e. the most known form of Pidgin, at least in the USA, is Jamaican Patois, although Pidgin is also spoken in many other parts of the world. This is why, despite speaking English, many Americans just cannot seem to easily understand what someone from Jamaica begins to speak, even leading to a huge misconception by many Americans that Jamaicans are speaking a foreign language when they are in fact speaking English, just not the Queen's English. For example, when I was in college, I had a buddy from Lagos, Nigeria, who I just could not understand when he was on the phone with someone back in Nigeria, despite the fact he told me he was speaking English. He's actually the one that clarified what Pidgin was to me, by the way. And Toronto is one of the most multicultural and multiracial cities in the entire world, and the similarities of Pidgin and the dialect spoken here could be a result of those island boys, not them, these island boys from the British Isles spreading English all over the world due to most English speakers' unwillingness to learn a foreign language. Jokes aside, Canada is in the Commonwealth of Nations, which a vast majority of nations in the Commonwealth being former parts of the British Empire, and many people from these nations actually immigrated to Canada. And the Commonwealth seems very suspiciously like a cover for the King of England to still be the head of state in most of these nations, ceremonial or not. Also, for some of my Americans that probably don't know, the UK and Canada still have the same head of state, with the king having his own personal residence in Canada, and the Governor General, who was appointed by the king, not by vote, technically outranking the Prime Minister of Canada. The Navy is called the Royal Canadian Navy, and the Air Force is also royal. And even though Rideau Hall is the official residence of the Governor General, it becomes the residence of the king whenever he's in Ottawa, so what, does she have to just get out when he's in town? Also, Drake only seems to share the Toronto accent when he wants to most of the time. He could have either just been in the US for too long, or is this just how people from Forest Hill sound? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, I didn't just want to stick to gang violence specifically because obviously that wouldn't tell the whole story of Toronto, despite the fact that it can get pretty brutal here, including the weather in the winter. Toronto obviously has a very rich history and culture.
Yeah, man, so basically, no matter where you at in the world, there's gangs everywhere, there's tough guys everywhere. Playing out there in them streets, you're gonna get what's coming to you. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, man. It's your boy Buddha. I'm out.